history has brutally betrayed Mary Magdalene, transforming one of Christianity's most powerful women into a caricature that would make her weep. For nearly 2,000 years, the Church painted her as a repentant prostitute, a convenient fiction that served to diminish her true role in the early Christian movement. But who was Mary Magdalene really? The answer lies buried beneath centuries of deliberate distortion and patriarchal revision. Picture a woman of substance walking the dusty roads of first-century Palestine. Mary of Magdala wasn't from the margins of society. She hailed from Magdala, a prosperous fishing town on the Sea of Galilee. Archaeological evidence suggests this was no backwater village but a thriving commercial center, home to wealthy merchants and influential families. Mary likely possessed both education and financial resources, luxuries few women of her era enjoyed. The Gospel of Luke reveals something extraordinary. Mary was among the women who provided for them out of their resources. She wasn't just following Jesus, she was funding his ministry. This wasn't pocket change from a reformed streetwalker. This was serious financial backing from a woman of means. Mary Magdalene was, in modern terms, a major donor and key supporter of the Jesus movement. But her influence ran far deeper than her purse strings. The Gospels consistently place her at the most crucial moments of Jesus' life. She stood at the cross when most disciples had fled in terror. She prepared his body for burial when others had given up hope. And in the ultimate testament to her importance, she became the first witness to the resurrection, the cornerstone event of Christian faith. Think about this. In a culture where women's testimony held no legal weight, where they couldn't even serve as witnesses in court, Jesus chose Mary to be the first herald of the most important news in human history. The other disciples didn't believe her at first, dismissing her account as idle tales. Yet Jesus had entrusted her with the message that would change everything. Early Christian texts reveal even more startling truths about Mary's role. The Gospel of Mary, discovered in 1896, portrays her as a recipient of special revelations from Jesus, teaching and comforting the other disciples after the crucifixion. The Gospel of Philip describes her as Jesus' companion and suggests she held unique spiritual insights that even Peter envied. This wasn't the portrait church fathers wanted preserved. As Christianity became institutionalized and increasingly male-dominated, Mary's true story became inconvenient. A wealthy, influential woman who held theological authority. A female apostle who received direct revelations. Such a figure threatened the emerging power structure. So, they rewrote her story. Pope Gregory I, in 591 CE, officially declared Mary Magdalene to be the unnamed sinful woman who anointed Jesus' feet, despite no biblical evidence connecting these figures. This false identification stuck for nearly 1,400 years, only corrected by the Catholic Church in 1969. The real Mary Magdalene emerges as a figure of remarkable courage and devotion. She risked everything to follow a radical teacher whose message challenged the established order. She remained faithful when others faltered. She demonstrated unwavering loyalty in the face of devastating loss, and she carried the greatest news in history to a world that initially refused to listen. Her story reveals uncomfortable truths about how history gets written and rewritten to serve those in power. It challenges us to question whose voices get heard and whose get silenced. Most importantly, it reminds us that the most transformative movements often depend on the courage of individuals who refuse to be diminished or dismissed. Mary Magdalene's secret life wasn't one of shame. It was one of extraordinary faith, influence, and purpose. The question isn't who she really was, but why her true story was deemed too dangerous to tell. Don't let history's distortions rob you of powerful truths. Dig deeper into the stories you think you know. You might discover they've been deliberately buried for reasons that have nothing to do with truth and everything to do with power.